Alright, so this is a presentation on basically why projects fail and basically approaches for managing projects so they don't fail and your team and everybody on your project is successful in deploying and developing whatever project you are currently assigned to. Now, the first step well, I guess we should overview why projects fail first. Generally, the top three things are, from what I've researched, is poor communication, short deadlines in budget, and volatile employment. Now, this also obviously depends on the scope of the project you're working on, the amount of employees you have, and whether, I mean, no matter what, if you have poor communication, it's gonna take more time to develop your project because it's going to lead to more mistakes when you don't have clear and concise communication with all of your team members. Um, but you also don't want to over communicate because over communication then will lead to people blocking stuff out, getting overwhelmed. So you have to find the right balance between, communicating well with someone and not nagging them, communicating enough to where they can do their job, but not too much, too down the future where it overwhelms them and they have to worry about other things that are not currently the problem. Now, um, short deadlines and budget. Generally, I mean, this also depends on how many employees you have and the scope of work. But generally, if you have a large project and your deadline is too short and not realistic, it's going to stress your employees out, and it's not going to make them want to work. It's not going to make the work environment very happy because nobody really works, re I guess, more friendly under pressure. Now, they might work better theoretically under pressure, but you're not going to keep your employees as long, and that will lead to volatile employment. And generally, you don't want employees, joining only for a year, say if the project's 5 years, and then they leave after a year, because then you're going to have to hire someone else to fill that employee, and then you're also going to have to train them, and it's going to and onboard them, and that takes even more time and more money, which then eats into your budget. So generally, you want to find it's hard because you have to balance your deadline and your budget, but you also have to balance it where it's not too stressful with the amount of work you have on your scope and the amount of employees you have. Now, obviously, why do projects succeed? I'm going to go into probably more than other than just three on this one. Um, Generally, obviously, the opposite of poor communication, great communication, and without a good leader or a good project leader, it's not going to get done. So you need leadership in there. Better work-life balance and less stress. So better work-life balance means the employees aren't working 80 to 100 hours overtime. They're not, they can actually enjoy themselves with the work they're doing, which equates to less stress and a better overall project. You'll probably even have functions and other optional things that are implemented properly that are working if all your employees are happy. Now, to have this better work-life balance, you need a longer development time. You can't have short deadlines. You need long deadlines, and you generally need a bigger budget. But I would say that far outweigh that that those two cons far outweighs the positives that come out of this because you'll have a better, well-rounded product when it comes out. And obviously, if your employees are happy, why would they move? Why would they be volatile? So they'll stay. Um, so generally they stay, they'll probably want to work again with you in the future. Now, here's the steps of project management. You obviously have your concept and your shareholders initiation. Then you come up with the planning and definition. Then you launch it, you develop it. It's sort of similar to so it's very similar to Scrum, except there's you don't really you probably do repeat the cycles more in the launch and execution and performance and control. Obviously, once the project closes, there's no more development. Development ceases, and you go to the next one. So this is more of a top-down um, overview on project management and what it takes and the steps it takes to have a well thought out project or a product come out to the market. And with that, I just want to thank you for watching, and thanks, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving.